NFL honors are tomorrow in Phoenix at 8 p.m. on NBC. The first one was in 2012. This is the 11th annual NFL honors, honoring the National Football League's best players. And these are my picks for every single award for tomorrow night's event. And starting off, we're going to be talking about the MVP and the Offensive Player of the Year. To me, that's Patrick Mahomes. He's going to win both of them tomorrow. He's really the only reason why the Chiefs are even relevant this year and why they even made the playoffs. Had 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns, 12 picks, and had the best quarterback rating in football. And he also had the most rushing yards of his career with over 350 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. And no Tyreek Hill this time. He was working with Travis Kelce primarily, then Juju Smith-Schuster, MVS, McCole Hardman, Sky Moore. I mean, these are like average weapons besides Travis Kelce. And he really had to put the team on his back this year. So I really think he deserves it in both ways. Jalen Hurts, obviously he was doing great, but his team is just completely stacked around him. Not his fault, but it wasn't totally all on him. Josh Allen threw a lot of picks this year. Justin Jefferson really was really good this year, but I think Mahomes just was another level, and Joe Burrow was really good this year too. He started off a bit slow though. But to me, Mahomes should win both awards. Next up is Defensive Player of the Year. I think it should go to Nick Bosa, 18.5 sacks, 51 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. He's going to win the Deacon Jones Award for the most sacks in the NFL, played for the #1 defense, so he's going to get it. But shout out to Micah Parsons, my dude right there. I had a chance to meet him at the Cowboys game a while back. He didn't do enough in the second half of the season to get the award, but he had 42 tackles, 13.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. He had a touchdown as well this year. So shout out to him. That dude is incredible. He's my favorite defensive player in the NFL right now since J.J. Watt just retired. But Bosa should be the winner for this. Next up, Comeback Player of the Year. That's going to be Geno Smith for me. He was a backup for Russell Wilson the year before, but not a super talented team around him in terms of defense. Offensively, he did have Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, and Kenneth Walker was really good this year. But he was back this year. First time he's been a starting quarterback, and he did so good. He was a Pro Bowl selection this year. 4,300 yards, 30 touchdowns, 11 picks, 61 quarterback rating, which is 7th best in the NFL, and at 366 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. So Pro Bowl selection, Saquon and CMC were the other 2 candidates, but Geno was just too good, man. With the Seahawks team that was expected to do really bad, he made them look really good. So shout out to him for sure. He didn't write back, that's for sure. Next up are the Offensive Rookie of the Year and Defensive Rookie of the Year. Going with the New York Jets rookies to win both of these. Garrett Wilson for Offensive Rookie of the Year had 3 different quarterbacks: Joe Flacco, Mike White, Zach Wilson. But he got it done, put up over 1,000 yards 1,000 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns, 83 catches, 13 yards per catch, and he had a long of 60 yards this season. So I think he deserves it, making it happen to different quarterbacks. Next up, Sauce Gardner for Defensive Rookie of the Year. 2 interceptions this season, 51 tackles. He has never allowed a touchdown in his career, which is a fun fact. Pretty impressive. 20 passes defended as well. So I think it definitely goes to Sauce Gardner for sure. You had Aiden Hutchinson, who was solid as well, Tariq Woolen, but it was Sauce straight up. And for Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, you had Brock Purdy. He only played 5 games though. And then Kenneth Walker was great, but to me, Garrett Wilson was even more impressive. And next up, Coach of the Year. This is a really tough decision, but Doug Peterson for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he is my Coach of the Year. Just so many candidates. You had Kyle Shanahan do an amazing job. Worked with Brock Purdy and Garoppolo and Trey Lance. Still got him to the NFC Championship game. And they only had 5 losses this entire season. And Nick Sirianni for the #1 Eagles was really great. Brian Daboll for the Giants. He's such a great coach. Completely turned the Giants around. They're 4-13 last year. This year they're 9-7-1, and they made the divisional round, winning a playoff game. But it has to be the Jaguars. To me, they were the #1 pick in the draft this year, and they picked Trayvon Walker. No one thought they were going to do anything this year. It was all about developing the rookies, and here they are. They win the wild card game, and they play in the divisional round. And then they nearly beat the Kansas City Chiefs, which is crazy. And then, by the way, they made a 27-0 comeback in the wild card round versus the Chargers. In his first year, Doug Peterson could revitalize this organization. Getting rid of that whole Urban Meyer stench from 3-14.